I own a lot of dinosaur figures. No joke, it's too many. Among all of those, I own a lot of T-Rexes, and I mean a lot. Time and time again, however, people keep begging and pleading for me to review this particular T-Rex, as it's supposedly one of the best ones Mattel has ever released. Is this true? Is this Tyrannosaurus Rex Mattel's magnum opus? The piece de resistance? The true king of the tyrants? Well, we'll just have to talk about him and figure that out. Hello there, my Googly Gang, it's your old pal GarrytheGremlin here, back at it again, but I can't deal with that now because today, I'm finally getting around to one of my most requested reviews, the Jurassic World Rebirth Lab Lockdown Tyrannosaurus Rex. So far, I've reviewed the Rebirth Spinosaurus and even that Dread D-Rex, so it seems fitting that I finally cover the real star of the film, that big mean chode of a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Fans have come to nickname this iteration of the Jurassic Park T-Rex Ember, but in my heart, it's always gonna be the "Oh Lord, he comin' T-Rex." Look at how big and thick he is. Sorry, I'm putting the cart before the horse here, or the raft before the Rex, if you will. This figure was a gift from my parents for Christmas. Thank you guys so much for supporting me and watching my videos. Sorry I said chode like 15 seconds ago. As for you lot, we got a YouTube contract to fulfill. You gotta like, comment, and subscribe, or else. Right off the bat, let's talk about the elephant in the room. It's right over there, and it's really freaking me out. Beyond that, Mattel makes some dumb moves. This clean, consummate, perfect example of a T-Rex toy should probably be the leading toy in a Jurassic World Rebirth line, but for some reason, it's not. This lab lockdown Tyrannosaur is a Walmart exclusive, and while it's easy enough to buy them in the States since they're clogging up shelves in droves, for our overseas friends, these lizard kings are a challenge to find. You've either got to not mind paying some hefty import fees, or you need to pony up the cash and schedule that trip across the pond. It's kind of silly to me that the uglier, wackier, lights and sounds power devour T-Rex got to visit the world, but this far superior Rex didn't. As for the actual figure, yeah, I love it. This guy is fantastic. This action figure tyrant has got a really emphatic personality to it. Angry and mean and grizzled. This is a real gruff and world-wearied Tyrannosaurus Rex with its stocky proportions, hunched stance, and gnarled, bumpy skin and scars. This T-Rex has clearly lived as the apex predator in a ruthless ecosystem where it's constantly had to affirm its position as the king of the jungle, evidenced by all these sculpted scars and his mean eyebrows. According to this interview with Empire, which I couldn't find to take a screenshot of, so you'll just have to trust me, I swear. Artists from the film actually took inspiration from classic retro depictions of dinosaurs, like Valley of Gwangi, for the surly and lizard-like interpretation of the T-Rex in this film. And I, for one, hey, put that away. No, I swear, it's true. They really did base it off the old T-Rex designs, I swear. Anywho, all of this is really cool and all, and makes for a super scary looking Tyrannosaur. However, in combination with this figure's size, makes it all feel a little Napoleonic. Is Napoleonic a word? This tyrant is tiny. Tiny tyrant, it's catchy. He's so mean and so angry, and maybe that's all because he's too short to ride on a roller coaster. He's just a little baby. Surprise size comparison, really early on into the review. The box suggests that he's 18 inches long, but since science hasn't invented numbers on my ruler past 12, I can't really confirm that. I can confirm that he stands at just about 7 inches tall to the top of his back. As we all know, however, size doesn't really matter. It's something else. No, don't be gross, I didn't mean it like that. Stop being a Gary the Gooner. I'm talking about price. This figure comes out at $29.99 USD. When you consider that the original Mattel Legacy Collection Extreme Chompin' T-Rex, who I do own but declined appearing in this video, cost only $19.99 and it was the same size and had even better articulation, $30 whole can't help but feel like way too much. Speaking of articulation, nah, I'm kidding. I'm joking. Give me that. $30 is too much for this T-Rex. For just $2 more dues, I got the Habitat Defender Triceratops. And look at by just how much it dwarfs this little crumb of a carnivore. Honestly, it's even funnier when you consider how big this T-Rex is in the movie. The movie Ember has a head bigger than an SUV, way too large and bulky to fit through some suspiciously conveniently placed human protecting boulders. If you can't tell from these extremely blurry screenshots, it's so big that it starts to verge on kaiju territory. In comparison, I find it so funny and endearing just how small this figure is. For some size comparisons, first up we've got the classic Action Master Grimlock, the Gary the Gremlin Council of Raptors, some 1/18 scale human figures, and this guy, the Skittlesaur. More on him later.
Wow.
For some more comparisons, here's the Hammond Collection Stygimoloch, the Hammond Collection Sinoceratops, the Hammond Collection Carnotaurus, who's about the exact same size, and finally, to round us out, the Hammond Collection Tyrannosaurus Rex, fellow Rebirth toyline friend, the D-Rex, and the Spinosaurus. Frankly, I really like the size of this T-Rex because it makes him so darn cute. The biggest, roughest, meanest T-Rex to ever appear in a Jurassic film gets a relatively small short stack of a figure. What he lacks in length, he makes up for in sheer girth. Maybe because the size and the aggressive disposition, but this lab lockdown dwarf dinosaur happens to remind me a lot of my favorite T-Rex toy, my childhood plaything, the Jurassic Park Hasbro Toys R Us Battle Growlers T-Rex. This colorful carnivore, who I affectionately will now refer to as the Skittlesaur, was really the only T-Rex toy I had growing up. This was the Tyrannosaur that fought all my other dinosaurs during playtime, and I love him so much. Between the grizzled sculpting and the short stature, I feel like it's not too far of a stretch to connect some sort of familial lineage between these grumpy T-Rexes. So, I will. Please and thank you. Good day. Anyways, you're going to want, nay, need to subscribe. I promise you, the second this review is tidied up and finished, and I know for sure I don't need a single more shot of this T-Rex in this drab brown color scheme, I am priming him up and getting him ready for a repaint. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss my future video where I give old Lab Lockie a taste of the rainbow. That is one of the few problems I will really level with this figure. This color scheme could have used a lot more work. For starters, as is typical Mattel fashion, all claws that could be skimped on have been skimped on. No paint on the dew claw and no paint on these tiny titty toucher claws. I feel like these claws should be considered part of the bare minimum essentials to be painted, along with stuff like teeth, eyes, and pupils, and well, there you go. These pupils aren't even painted. Great. Great. This may be unfortunate and make the whole toy feel so much cheaper, but to be honest, it's a small price to pay to make sure that Mattel's CEO can just put one more cent in his pocket for every figure made. Don't you guys get it? That's a reasonable sacrifice. It's worth it. I don't even know how to say this guy's name. Not to be all old man yells at cloud, but back in my day, we'd get some crazy paintwork. These Hasbro Jurassic Park figures, the ones before the dark times, are fully kitted out and also have some super inventive color schemes with all sorts of patterns and paint applications. There was actually no expense spared here. The best that old Lab Lockie here can get is 3 shades of brown. Actually, not even 3, just 2. The plastic body doesn't count. It's cast out of this nice milk chocolate color that I actually do really like a lot. And then count them, for our 2 paint applications, we've got a subtle dark brown on the back, and then this tan on the neck. And that's it. Really nothing for the underbelly and zilch on the tail or legs. I get this is supposed to be a relatively basic toy, but the relatively basic toys when I was a kid looked so much cooler. While Mattel may have been asleep at the wheel while laying down the paint applications, they were straight cooking on the sculpt work. Hardly ever is sculpt work my favorite feature of a figure, but here? Oh, guys, it's class. Please excuse my romantic, I mean spooky mood lighting, but it does really help highlight the depth and complexity of the sculpt. I really love these big bumpy scales running down the length of the body, as well as these large iguana-like scales on the jaw, and then these thick textured neck wrinkles and veins. It's all got me drooling thinking of the fun I'll have repainting him. My favorite detail has got to be this little notch taken out of his lip. It's so cool. The cherry on top of this sweet Tyrannosaur cake are these now seemingly standard rubber teeth, which still always amaze me over and over. You guys are probably tired of hearing me go on and on about them by now, but I mean, come on, they're so great. I do happen to have a problem with these 4 little wacky teeth right here, clogging up the back of the mouth like the world's worst dinosaur tonsil stones. Actually, good question, could dinosaurs get tonsil stones? Somebody look that up for me. I think a taste of the knife for our old friend here ought to fix that right up for him. Once I get to customizing this fella, first step is to cut him. While we're on the topic of the mouth, I should mention he's got a pretty great gimmick. Pushing this discreet button on his back causes his mouth to open. This is the way I like it, you guys know that. Like we always say in this household, watch out where the huskies go and don't you eat that yellow snow. Well, yeah, true, but beyond that also, we always say the best opening mouth gimmicks are default position closed, and then you push a button to make it open. Not as catchy a saying as the first one, and also not as important. It's a good fun gimmick and works pretty well, though the jaws can open a lot wider if you just get your fingers in there and crack them open. For shots like these, I often end up sticking a toothpick in his gums to prop him open as well. And now, finally, it's time for our long-promised articulation segment. Posing time! There's not a ton of articulation, but it's still pretty decent. Starting with the jaws, they can open really darn big, great for all those times we'll be playing with this and need to just bite off another toy's head or various extremities. Great fun. Unfortunately, however, this tongue is fixed in place and will definitely get in the way of biting something. I've really been considering if I want to try neutering him and cutting that tongue out and gluing it to the bottom of the jaw. Anyways, the neck is on some sort of ball joint, which is amazing considering this figure has that biting gimmick. It can move great up, down, and side to side, though whatever internal mechanism is in there keeps it from being able to fully swivel all the way around. The arms are on very basic universal joints, being able to hinge outwards decently far and swivel all the way around. Similar deal with the legs, though I'm really appreciating this good deal of outwards kick. Otherwise, they can manage a shaky full rotation, and then ankles can swivel. Okay, that doesn't count, that just looks goofy. The base of that big fat slug of a tail is on a ball joint with some good range, and finally the tail tip has a basic rotation. Altogether, it's nothing to write home about, because if I did, my family would probably be really confused on why I wrote a letter instead of just sending a text. But you know that's not what I meant when I said that, and I meant that the articulation is just okay. I do really appreciate the mechanics of that neck joint still having good posability, but also maintaining its gimmick. Overall, I think I'm pretty happy to say that this Rebirth Rex lives up to the hype. There's some limitations for sure, but it's still a really great Tyrannosaurus Rex figure. This is a sturdy, mean dinosaur for the ages. This is the kind of Rex that I imagine many kids will get and look back on fondly once they grow older. This Rex could very much be the culprit for starting someone's dinosaur obsession. This figure, my Googly Gang, is how you end up with a Gary the Gremlin in a couple years. Someone's gonna get this and it's gonna start that Jurassic obsession. The only thing I have left to think about it is that with a more colorful paint job, this probably could have been the best T-Rex figure from Mattel ever. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, I'm glad you enjoyed the video that much. Sorry my friends, I know it's been a minute and a half since my last upload, but I'm glad to be back. I've got some very exciting things planned for this month, plenty of reviews and repaints, so make sure to keep your eyes peeled for that. I want to give a big thank you to my channel members who support me. Thank you so much. You guys are the best, but everyone already knows that. One last thing, if you missed it, I recently opened a P.O. box. Plenty of people ask me how they can send me fan mail, and well, that's how. I'll put the address up on screen, and if you want to send me a letter or a package, I really appreciate it. I don't think we're going to keep this open forever, so if you want to get me something, now is the time. Alright, that's all for this one. Thanks again for watching. Happy New Year. Gary the Gremlin, out.